Yeah, it's another Monday, guys. Welcome to the Gliders on BETWGB TV. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian, standing once again as your host in place of Joy, who continues to recuperate. So we wish her a speedy recovery and all that she has to contend with. Well, back on the show, it's been a tough last couple of days. I mean, shockwaves across the football world, the shocking demise of the Jota brothers, and of course the legendary Jota and Peter Rufai. I mean, sparked a whole lot of shock across not just football, across other sports, and that is where we begin the show with today. I have the cavalry here with me, but first of all, I'll come to Timothy. I mean, when we saw that news of Diogo Jota and his brother, passing on, where were you when you got that news, and how shocking was it for you when you saw that?
I was on my phone. I think I saw it first. Peter went there posted it, and then it was like shocking. Then you saw it from Marker. Then the first thing is you want to always go to check if other people have also posted it. Then before I even got to Twitter, I've already seen it on different places, and then it was really shocking that that incident happened. Very, very sad. And receiver also, who we did not know that was a footballer, and his younger brother also died in that incident.
In Portuguese second division.
Absolutely. Very, very sad one for the world of football. I mean, losing players in that manner, players that I think the news was it was probably traveling to go back to Liverpool for training and all of those things, and then was supposed to use a ferry, and then that incident happened. I mean, very, very shocking. My own mood was down. Didn't cry, but I mean, when you try to do something and then your mind keeps going to this thing that okay, it happened, and you're trying to wonder like, is this normal? We know that okay, death. There's this thing about death. I don't know. We have seen so many bad incidents. Death. You mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo, Emiliano Sala has happened, but there's that thing that when it happens, it's always a new feeling that okay, this thing has happened again, and then you still continue to feel bad that okay, this happened. Very, very sad one. I think Mohamed Salah made a post where he was saying that it's going to be difficult for him to go back to training because that feeling of when you see this person doing these things, probably you see Jota in this corner doing something, you see him in that place, the way he plays the ball, the way he jumps, all of those favorite things that they do in training, and then all of those things you can't see Jota do it again because he has lost his life. I'm very, very sad one, and we pray that his soul continues to rest in peace, and his brother also. And then one very, very down part of it is that I mean, football has always been that thing that whenever anything happens, you have to move on. I think life generally, not only football. I've seen people say that should the game, I think the Fluminense and Al Hilal game should have gone down, but I mean, football has always been like that.
I mean, João Cancelo were visibly down before that game.
Yeah, like they were crying so bitterly. I think in the PSG game also, Nuno Mendes was also trying to control himself. I mean, those Portugal players, this is someone you see in camp. They won the Nations League, I think, 3 weeks ago, and this is someone you saw. I mean, you'd have married together and all of those things, and then the next thing you are seeing that is dead. Very, very sad one, but like I just say, football, life generally, we always have to move on, and we pray that tributes to Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva.
And those that are like that.
Yeah, it was really personal for me as a Liverpool fan. I mean, when I saw that news, it took me by surprise. I didn't believe it at first. Like you said, you would have to go and verify from other sources to make sure that this is really true. Then when he started coming in, Sky News that he passed on in Spain, it was an accident. I mean, tributes all over, not just in the football world, across other sports, paying their respective tributes. So many write-ups you read and you get all emotional. Yeah. I mean, Mikolo, how pleasing was it for you to see these tributes for a player many might not have known personally, but seeing those tributes speaks good of the kind of person Diogo Jota was.
Yeah, he's always been, every club, every team has that one player that people do not hate, and I feel like that's who Diogo Jota is. As much as, as an Arsenal fan, Diogo Jota was always going to score against us, but you just could not hate him. Do you understand? Like, he's somebody that if you see him on the field, I remember I was going through my tweets just to see like things off Twitter, and then, there was a time, I think 2023, people were jubilating at Firmino and Salah unavailable for Liverpool against Arsenal, and I'm like, Diogo Jota is still on the bench and is playing against Arsenal, and it's just that guy that, like what Timothy has said, no scandal, he's been with his woman for over 13 years, you've never heard of everything, and then it's really sad how life is. You can go through the best time of your life and then still lose it a week later. When won the the Premier League, eventually won with his nation, got married to his childhood lover, person that has like come up with him all through his life, the mother of his 3 kids, and then you're losing your life like 12 days later. I don't think it's anything you can envisage or try to like come to terms with, right? So when I checked my phone, I started seeing like people posting a lot on WhatsApp, right? And it didn't really hit me, but as soon as I saw that the color of the picture was like black and white, that was when it started hitting me like, what's going on? So really I just like checked somebody. I'm like, people are posting Jota a lot, and then I just saw that it's a black and white picture everybody's posting, and I'm like, what's currently going on? And then I went online and saw Diego Jota, and I tweeted you that even after 2 days, after 3 days, I do random things during the day, and it just hits me again.
Yeah,
Diego Jota has passed like a breadwinner with his brother. Like, I can't imagine like people that are very close to them. You are saying as a Liverpool fan, they are immediate family members. They are Liverpool fans. They are Liverpool players. They are the owners. They are agents. They are probably cooks. Physio, guys that work with him on a regular, the guys that probably their career is tied to him. How do they feel in this kind of situation? Do you understand? People, he probably has a personal trainer that they've been together for years, probably has people that have made a living out of him becoming successful, and in their head, they are preparing for another season. Now, do you know, there's a very funny thing that also happened. The previous day before Jota died, I think that was on a Wednesday, somebody had made a tweet, right? A fan of Diego Jota, a fan of Liverpool, made a compilation of he's coming back better next season. Yeah. Right. That was on Wednesday, and he died on Thursday morning. So the caption was like, "You guys better stay on the same side you are of criticizing him, because he's going to be back and better next season." So now imagine how that affects the expectations. His parents have plans, the family, his wife, and all of that. So you can't, like Timothy said, you can't really prepare for what death will take from you. And it was really sad. At a point I almost cried because I saw Wolves. I saw their 5 minutes video, and man, it brought out tears from me.
It's Ruben Neves so much, because I watch his videos. You know that this is not someone you say just my friend, like my friend, like better friend, like everything.
There's like video of asking Diego Jota who his best friend is, and he's mentioned it so many times.
Another touching thing was, that got my mom, when she, because this is a story that trended all over. Even if you're not a football person, you must have seen the news. So she was like, she asked, who's this footballer that passed on? And she saw something that, when I told her that it was the only two, the Liverpool fan, and the only two child of the parents, she got all emotional. So as a mother, you feel, they have a grandparent
kind of feeling. There's a grandparent that's still alive, probably grandfather or grandmother.
Yeah, so those kind of stories, and the funeral, the tributes, players, teammates coming to show their support and all that, and you saw the wife all emotional and all teary. It also brought all the emotions back to me again. I remember on the WhatsApp group when the news broke, you said we should stop sharing the news that it was getting to you. So I don't know how you felt, and what was it like for you when you saw that news?
Like when if you remember, we started together as a company, so you would know this. One of the key position I took is that we would never do breaking news. No matter how big the breaking news is, we will never do breaking news. I know that's a media house. Your desire is to be first to the news. Your desire is to be the breaker of news. You should be source. Every other person should be tapping from you. But with experience, you learn that some things don't matter. And then another very strong rule in my business, in my life, is I don't share the death of anybody. If you check my tweet, you won't say anything about Jota or Peter Rufai. If I wasn't celebrating you while you're alive, I should shut up and not say anything about you when you die. And I get that from. So I lost my father when I was pretty early. Lost my mom. My best friend, Tamina Smogbo, we were going to the stadium in Port Harcourt. It was this, Civic Center, and then there was a stampede, and we were 3. Him, his twin brother, myself, because I'm the one who is a football person per se. I was in front, 2 boys and 1 girl. The sister's name is Ebere, and I left the front, so let me be at the back, because I'm the one that can make them go in. If I go in first, the way the whole stampede is, they might get lost in the melee. So let me stay at the back and push them in. I just moved from here to here, and a gun went boom.
Fucking hell.
The guy that took my space, were the same height, just hit him in the chest, and he died. And I've also lost Meshach, my friend, holy son, died in my hands. So when it comes to people dying, that's why I reacted the way I reacted in the group. And I know that a lot of people don't get it, but when people die, and I've lost people, death have hit close to home for me a lot. When you pass 50, 60, my mom died at 52, past 50, 60, it's okay. I don't really feel bad about it. But like you said, a Diego Jota who is not anybody's enemy. I always say that there are some players you can't banter. There are some players you can't insult. There are some players that are just too good to be insulted. Ronaldinho, Ronaldo da Lima, Raul Gonzalez, Robbie Fowler, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes. Then you not hear that one tragic thing happened to them. You sleep and not wake. It's still death. There's no difference. But that you're driving a car, the car exploded, and you die that kind of gory death, and then it's you and your only brother, your parents. You just 11 or 12 days ago, you just married your
going from extreme celebration to extreme sadness. That's what I was always like in my head.
We were, and there's a little baby. We were talking the other day about kidney problem, liver problem, and one of the men that I respect the most in this industry, Emeka Henrique, were just there talking, and I remember it was one of the ex-players said, but I was like, oh, they brought drinks. Just drink it for once. I said, no, I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't take it. And like, what are you protecting? Even this bros that doesn't drink or smoke, he had issues with his kidney one time. And I was like, it doesn't really matter. It's a matter of principle. Diego Jota is one of those clean guys that you can't even find a feather, an ounce of controversy around him, an ounce of negativity. He's done everything right. He's lived a very good life. And this is where you say bad things happen to good people, right? It's not even a case of, he died, or there is the brother to still console the parents. Where are they even going to start the crime from? Where are they going to start? The whole issue is devastating. Those who say that football games should be stopped, they really don't know how the world works. I think for you, I'll tell you this is a lesson. Nobody's going to stop anything for you. The world will not stop.
I mean, even the media houses, right? Even after posting Diego Jota in the morning, probably an hour, they started posting transfer news.
It dawned on me like transfer has to go.
I lost I will not say friend, but when I was on 100 level, I lost a departmental mate.
Yeah.
I mean, we did just little protest. Some people still had tests that evening. The tests still went on. The next day, everybody moved on with classes and everything.
Don't want to fail.
When I was running Babanawa Football Club, there's a place in Jakonde in Lekki. It used to be like a playground in Jakonde. That's the place we used for our training. Efe was training. Was one of our fittest defender. Was training. One of the players we inherited from the old team before I sold my team to them. Died. We rushed him to Creek Hospital, military hospital in Awolowo. When we got there, they said he was already dead. Brought him in dead. We have a match that weekend. He died on Thursday. We went for the match. We went for the match. We played against, I think it was Ikabo Kong. We won. It wasn't because of his death that we won. We came back, we went to Benin to go bury him. It was one of the human death that really got to me. They gave his family, I remember very well, 50,000 naira. And it changed my perspective to life. That's why I am the way I am. Like, you know what? Nobody really value your life. Nobody really cares. All this plenty noise, all this crying. They bought one ball, bought boots, trash suit, put him in the coffin. I don't know whether I bought the coffin in Benin, 30K or so, and they buried him. Every time I pass through Benin, if I go inside Benin, I have to pass front of where they buried him. That's where they bury Phil. And that feeling has made me, as I would say, I would have fun in my life. That's why I'm this playful, enjoy my time with my children, play a lot, have fun, I like to make people happy, but it's as a result of all of these things that has happened. Because listen, if you fall down and die, life will go on. Life will go on. And it's sad to see people die, and in the manner in which he died. But it is like this is life.
But the truth is,
It's painful.
You will be celebrated, and also, I mean, Dodo Mayana amongst us here, you would be the one
Woo!
who must have watched him more. Tell us what kind of a person he is. And
My greatest, I've watched Dodo. I've worked with him for Coca-Cola. I interviewed him a couple of times. It's one of the early people that he told how the name Dodo Mayana came. So I know Dodo Mayana from, I have a history with Dodo Mayana. As a child, I watched Peter Rufai collapse Warri Township Stadium. So he was Peter Jaja, then he became Peter Rufai. I watched Warri Township Stadium, teams fell on me. Peter Rufai made save that collapsed Warri Township Stadium. I would never forget it. The bleachers were wood that time. Peter Rufai. This Peter Rufai, it was 88, 87, 88. Then I watched Peter Rufai when they were still wearing long leggings.
Yeah.
Kept the longest penalty run that I've ever seen. Nigeria is on Nigeria, Morocco, in Morocco 88. It's the semi-finals before the finals that we lost to Cameroon. And I watched Rufai save penalty with his leg. And I also watched Rufai in USA 94, made some saves, and then I watched him in France 98 when I was like, this guy is tired. Ebi Sand. And then we became friends in my days with Brilla FM and got to work with him, do a lot of projects. We were he's not reachable. He's, even 3 weeks ago, Peter Rufai was on the list. I'm shooting a documentary for an organization. Peter Rufai was on the talking head. He was on the list. We were calling him. And I remember some people were grumbling, he doesn't take his call. I said, no, he always take his call. If he doesn't, something is wrong, because I always call him, I'll send him a message, I'll say, hey, Dodo, Afana, we relate.
Dodo.
And when I send message and I didn't get reply, I remember telling them that, as far as I'm concerned, because I start showing them our chats, we really do chat a lot. Look, we chat a lot, and he responds, see message, see the time of his response. If he's not responding, either his phone is missing or something is wrong. And then when the news came that he had died, that's why people should stop. Everybody was trying to post evidence, proof that the person has died. Why are you showing me proof? I don't need it. The news will be there, but don't put it in this group. I don't want to feel it. It was sad because the next phase of recording, Rufai was on top of Rufai, Amokachi, Vitekbeba, those are the list of people. And that story now is off, you understand? And recently I interviewed, the last interview Christian Chukwu ever made was my interview. So so all of these things I'm watching people there. Somebody said I'm the angel of death. In one WhatsApp group that you killed Chukwu, you not killed Rufai. But it's sad. But Peter Rufai was a great guy. Afro, low court, bishop court, as we used to call it. There's so many things I remember about Peter Rufai. Winning the African Cup of Nations, we praise him to the heaven, we yab him. But he was a guy who, when he come around, and it's something that, looking at Peter Rufai, I like it. You can say all the rubbish about Peter Rufai. When he comes around, he's got that intimidating presence. Not as big as David Ngodiga, but he's got that intimidating presence. What you would have used to yab him, that spot on his face, will get you scared.
Yeah.
When you see Peter Rufai like this, I'm like, man, how do you score against this guy?
Commanding figure.
He's got a commanding figure. He got the presence. He's got the aura. If he comes here, you just kind of like you. He's the kind of guy that you don't just go sit and start just. You just start far and be observing him, because if he was in a movie, he would be a boss. He would be a bad guy in the movie, like that kind of guy that is. To have that kind of guy go, I would say the Italian way, his life will be written in 3 words: Vini, Vidi, Vici, because he came, he saw, and he conquered.
Yeah.
He lived the life. He conquered. He's a legend while he was alive. He's a legend now that he's dead. He will forever be a legend.
Forever be a legend, Peter Rufai. Passed on at the age of 61. When it comes to goalkeeping in the country, definitely up there, the very best that Nigeria has ever produced. Well, still on this whole topic, let's get it a bit debating on the show now. A lot of talks on social media about Diogo Jota's funeral. Whatever the case, people will always find something to talk about. Even if it's a demise of a loved one, there would always be something to talk about. So footballers, coaches, managers, teammates were present at Diogo Jota's funeral, but there was no Ronaldo. So a lot of, journalists came out to say he was a bit surprised. Ronaldo is the Portuguese captain, but he was nowhere to be found in the funeral. I mean, everyone has their way to express grief if they lose someone so close to them. Timothy, for you, do you feel, no matter the excuse, I mean, the excuse we hear was that he doesn't want his presence to overshadow the memorial of
is that not a good
lost
enough
one.
excuse?
So I'm putting it to you guys now. Some people have come to say it's not good enough. I mean, you lost someone. Fuck it, whatever it is. Just come show your response.
Born again
Calm down.
No, that's YouTube. It's not about it's YouTube.
Whatever it is. But I mean, I thought I was on the Elevated TV channel. But, we know what we used to do. We say whatever.
You see why I was surprised?
But let's get back to it. I've said what I said, so maybe our producer might yank it off.
No, don't yank it off.
Was it a good excuse for you, Timothy? Should Ronaldo be there no matter what the excuse?
Firstly, we don't even know if it's true, but if that was the reason,
it's true.
Okay, even if that was the reason, I mean, like you did say, people have different ways of expressing grief. I don't even know why that should be a conversation. There always has to be a conversation. I'm not sure I saw Mo Salah at that burial. Mo Salah is a teammate of Diogo Jota. I mean,
they play together more
in the attack. So that's what I was even going to. So why should there be a conversation? There has to always be a conversation about Ronaldo and all of those things. If he had gone, people would have said, "Oh, the show is for him."
He has not the attention.
He has not gone now. Now there's still a conversation that, "Oh, why did he not go?" I mean, it's not something we should even be talking about. But I mean, people would always want to bring in people. This is someone that's died. There should be no nonsense conversation or crazy dilly-dallying conversations coming around. Oh, because Ronaldo, there are so many people that did not attend that burial that are close to Diogo Jota. So it doesn't mean that Ronaldo does not probably like Diogo Jota, or I mean, I don't even know what to say, but it's just crazy that the conversation is coming up. If Ronaldo had gone, it was right to go. He did not also go. It doesn't mean it's wrong not to have gone. So Ronaldo did not go to the burial, fine. It doesn't mean that Ronaldo has done something very, very bad.
Okay. But there's this thing about showing respect, when you lose someone. I mean, he's the Portuguese captain, like they say. He's the leader of that team. He's played with Diogo Jota. And I mean, I saw a tweet from Puja. He was talking about the World Cup in 2022 where Ronaldo was there, how photojournalists swamped the area just to take a picture of Ronaldo. That tells you how he can command attention. So imagine such scenario at a funeral. So, I mean, so is there something that could be done? Just ban people from taking photos. Just be there.
I don't think that's possible, right? Because
you can't do that for a burial.
You can't do that because that also would then bring another type of attention, right?
That would even damage Ronaldo.
So that is the downside to fame, right? The downside to fame is that whatever you do, there's always going to be talks. But my own issue is that I don't like the clickbait that happens. It's not every subject that should have hot takes.
Absolutely,
right? It's not every subject. Somebody has died, right? All the conversation should be about Diogo Jota, his life,
and his brother,
and everything,
you get it.
and everything that has happened. This so somebody tweeted something and said all of these conversations happening about Ronaldo not going is the reason he didn't go. Absolutely. Do you understand? Because now all of the conversation has shifted from Bruno Fernandes, Ruben Neves, all of the guys, even the president, everybody that came to pay respect. And you're talking about somebody. It's not like you saw Ronaldo on his story partying when he should be celebrating the life of Diogo Jota. He's with his family. He has paid his respects. He has posted about it. He's showing. You don't even know the other things that might have gone on.
And we don't
you don't know.
Crying out loud, Ronaldo might have even
reached out. He might have even paid some things.
Like, there's a lot of things that happen. So his sister has come out to say, and people don't read things, right? People just want to talk. People don't read things. So when they lost their dad, Ronaldo wasn't even a big star like this back in probably in 2008 or whatever and all of that. His sister wrote that on the day of the burial of their dad, graveyards were decimated, walls were broken down, so many unnecessary attention. The old conversation was no longer on their father and the burial, right? He was coming to a burial and people were asking for autograph. The last time he also went to a funeral was, I think, George Mengen's parents or his agent's parents, and the same thing happened, right? So this is somebody that knows what an everyday life is for him. And in his own thoughts, it's not like he said something really wrong, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to take the attention from the reason. And there's evidence to back that up over 2 times that have gone. So why is there still a conversation about his absence? It doesn't make any sense. There shouldn't be a conversation about Ronaldo coming or not. He has paid his respect. He's still going to visit the family of the dead,
Privately.
send messages to them, and all of those private things. So it's just so unnecessary, right? It's just so unnecessary. He's trying to make it about him. He did not go. You're still saying he's trying to make it about himself. Why? You are the one making it about him by discussing these things. He himself has not come out to maybe post an ad or post something else when everything is happening. Like you say, he wants to try to. He's trying to stay away. How is that taking attention for himself? So it's a very rubbish conversation, to be honest. And anybody that says things in that, I don't respect the person, because I feel like you're not logical in your thinking.
Yeah, no, it's
like
true.
you're not logical in your
It's just the truth. I mean,
the same way to his
I
was good
am
enough.
100% with Mikolo on this. God, how? Like, what kind of world are we really building, for instance? Now, so let me create real life scenarios for us. We always use this word on social media. There are levels to these things, but most of the people who type it do not understand. I used to go to church. I attended a church called House on the Rock. It was 2 occasions where TD Jakes came to Nigeria. One was The Experience, season 7 or so, and then one was on at tape 2017 August. 2 things I noticed was that before TD Jakes come, CIA, American security people will come in and do a clean sweep.
Yeah.
TD Jakes, regular human being.
Yeah.
But you see, when that man moved, the galaxies, forget PDD, Freecom, Moo case that no people just want to use to scatter people's name anyway. That man moves. But there are countless other pastors that have come. They just come in, slide in and slide out like unknown people in your DM. It doesn't mean anything. When a Cristiano Ronaldo moves, there are a lot of things in the right way. I would say the galaxies align. The planetary system moves with him
Across generations, across
If
industries.
Is coming will cause chaos, will cause vandalization of the cemetery or the place, and then now people are seeking, people start hugging him and start crying and looking for his attention. He has used common sense to know that, but this will not be good.
Yeah.
This means that I am insensitive to the pain of this family.
The
They
family,
did just
the
not
disease.
only one person. I'm coming here to carry my circles that I did not create.
Yeah.
Remember?
Absolutely.
Michael Jackson once said, I just want to play music. I just want to make music and make the world better. That people are falling over themselves and killing themselves. Nobody planned that. There was no playbook for it. I didn't create it. People have played ball before me. Nobody do this. But I'm playing football and all of this. If I now know that my presence, do you think I like Tinubu coming to Lagos? He comes to Lagos and all of us were suffering.
Everywhere
Traffic
we
is
block.
everywhere. If I might say, Oga, stay in Abuja. But that's not possible. Lagos is also part of the place where he's governing. Now, if the man does not come to Lagos, and you now say, oh, he didn't come to Lagos, blah, 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 then you're being foolish. So the man thought ahead, and it was the great French leader, Charles de Gaulle, that said, a leader is one who goes 10 steps ahead, see the situation, and fix it before the problem arises. So Cristiano Ronaldo practically has solved the problem, eliminated a lot of things that would have caused more pain to the family that have lost people. I think this is one thing they should praise him for, that he didn't even put himself for attention.
Yeah.
He considered this family, because listen, if you've ever lost someone, you know that the whole drama around the burial is useless. So it's what happened after the burial. Cristiano Ronaldo might sustain this family, those 3 children, from now till eternity. Just like the guy who gave him that final pass that made him get his career, that he has made sure the guy lives the kind of life that he's living. Right? When the scouts came in, you remember that story?
Yeah.
That they were going to pick only one person. That guy, Cristiano Ronaldo said that guy was a better player than him, a better scorer than him. But they were tied on 4-4 goals, and the scout said, I'll pick only one person. And it was the final boy saying, you take. Score. And he asked, why did you give me the pass when you're trying to go? He said, I know that you will make a better footballer than me. I don't know what's going to happen. When he made it, he made sure this guy, I have bread, you will be the bakery. The same thing with Neymar and his 11 guys. The same thing with Kevin Hart and the Red Cup boys. What I'm saying is, what Cristiano Ronaldo would do hereafter is way more important than who attended the burial or who did not attend the burial. There are coaches that coached him that were not there. There are coaches that he scored goal for that made them win titles that were not there. Nobody said anything. Must we? I've always been asking this question. Must we live in this world of I love Messi, so I must hate Ronaldo? I hate. This is not God and devil. Please, there is no law that says.
Even
you must find
that, there's time for everything. Not in this kind of case.
Be rational now.
Yes, like there's only that place of bants.
There's not everything that they ban.
That's what I'm saying.
If something is white, it is white. This is black. Let's not ban and say no. Do you know that the chemical they use for it is green? No, please. It's not
even with the sensitive issues like this.
Black.
It's not with
and then the case is too sensitive to not make Ronaldo the focal point.
So guys, let's move away from all that. Now let's talk about Liverpool now and how this is going to affect Liverpool's season. Now, two things is going to happen. Is either this spur them on to perform, or every match it keeps playing in their minds that no Diogo Jota in the dressing room, no Diogo Jota to come off the bench to score goals for them. I mean, this was a guy who was returning to England. I read somewhere he was advised by his doctors after taking a surgery go via a ferry from Spain to England and not to fly. So how does this work out? Where do you see this spanning out, Mikolo? Does this spur them on, or it's going to affect them come the new season in the Premier League?
I think they'll be broken, as we've said, but not like for the entire season. But I feel like it needs some getting used to, just like what Mo Salah posted. That is going to be very. People leave football. People leave all the time. You get used to like seeing new people around. But I don't think it can never be as somebody dying. Do you understand? So you lose your friends. People transfer to other clubs, but you can always still catch up with them. But the parts where they die, I don't know how. As a footballer, you're supposed to like adjust to that, right? I saw Mourinho's interview, and he mentioned the fact that he had lost a coach as well before one time, and that's where it gets really tough for them. So I feel like the first couple of weeks, there's preseason. Luckily, there's preseason and all of that, so it's going to have some getting used to. Also, these clubs also, have access to mental health issues. They have therapy. They can speak to their psychologists. They have all of the necessary help and materials that they need to be able to bounce back from this. But ultimately, I feel like going into the season as defending champions and having suffered a loss like this, historically you would want it to be something that spurs them on. So I feel like it's going to be sad, right? But I also feel like there's nothing more like joint grief. I feel like if you suffer joint grief with somebody, there's a brotherhood. It's like a shared trauma. So do you understand? So it's like people fighting for freedom, right? It's like in the days of fighting for independence, there's a shared trauma, there's a shared brotherhood. Like, I'm going to do this for you, right? So I feel like that's where this comes in. I feel like Liverpool players feel like they owe it to Diogo Jota to always perform right now, because the whole city is going through a lot. You've seen flowers right there at Anfield. So playing at home this season alone has an atmosphere of its own, of Diogo Jota not being around. There's a mural hopefully in front of the stadium. There's flowers everywhere. Players are coming in and they can actually feel it. There's also they've retired his jersey number 20. They might also put his jersey hanging in his locker for the entire duration of the season.
They'll pay the remainder of his contracts to the family.
They're paying his remainder of the salaries for the 2 years, the wages and all of that. But also there's the place of putting his jersey in the locker wherever he used to sit down. So I feel like that's an extra motivation, and I don't think it's going to affect them in that way. Emotionally, yes, but football-wise, I feel like it's going to spur them on to continue to fight, because they feel like they owe it to Diogo Jota to do this. The shared trauma, the brotherhood, the camaraderie that's going to come from this shared trauma. Being there for one another. It obviously has like closer friends in the dressing room that has to be there for each other and all of that. So I feel like for Liverpool, it might spur them on to do great this season. And I would not even be mad if they win the league again.
Number 20 signed in 2020 was there when they won the number 20.
It can go right. I know,
for me, I would like to see a preseason game between Liverpool and FC Penafiel, the second division Portuguese team of his younger brother. Maybe just fix something for before the season starts. Just play that friendly game to honor the brothers. You know, I mean, just do it for the football fans.
I don't know if they do that for unexpected deaths.
That's what I would love to see happen if it does happen.
Did they do tribute games for unexpected deaths? I don't think
this
so.
one is
I mean, this one is something. If it happens, I mean, it's
let's
what
snatch two people from one house.
you know, is what
Wow.
But we just.
I think they'll probably do other things. I don't think they're going to play like a charity match.
It's just a pre-season friendly, so it's not like written in stone. But just do it to honor the brothers and all
I don't
that.
think it'll happen.
But I mean, why?
Do you understand?
It's
I don't see
it happening.
I don't see the message
Mm.
behind that, right? You know, if you're honoring, so historically, if you're honoring like a legend that has passed on, you can always have these things, Bobby Charlton, all of this kind of, you know, he has.
Yeah, but like they say,
It's a death of a young person.
You understand? But this is like a death of a young person.
Young
I
people
don't
actually.
think.
I think you don't want to keep that stain.
Memory,
That's why
so
I'm
there's
afraid of the idea of leaving his jersey, the locker room space, because you're going to create a ghost in that dressing room that will haunt the next player you will sign to come and sit in that place. I will redesign the dressing room and close that gap and put another number there. That's what I would do.
Okay.
All the murals will be there, because take for instance, you're running that space for the whole of the season, and somewhere you're going to remove it eventually. Somewhere when you're not removing, I say, that's your seat. Who's going to sit there?
And also, they might even break down sometimes.
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well,
So-
we wish the deceased the very best. I hope they will surely wish them that they rest in peace. You know, not just Diogo Jota and the brother, of course, the legendary Dodo Mayana in Peter Rufai. We'll go on a very short break, and when we return, Mikolo and Edafe quickly touch on Ateta. That's where we'll be coming on after this very short break. Don't you go.
Ateta again.
Zubi.
Are you good now?
Welcome back, guys. It is still the Gliders on BETWGB TV. Now, let's talk about Arsenal. We were here on the last edition of the show where Edafe and Mikolo were almost loggerheads on the signing of Christian Norgaard to replace Thomas Partey.
My guy, but he's not my guy.
But I mean, with what we've seen in the last couple of days, Thomas Partey being charged, not yet. We don't know if he's guilty, but now charged for some. I mean, this is serious allegations now. Now, do you think, I mean, the bringing of Norgaard now is really necessary? I mean, Zubimendi has been confirmed. I mean, not just this business now, a whole lot has been going on for us now. Quite surprising. I don't know what Arsenal saw in Chelsea going to get these Chelsea players and all that. Now, Nodi Madueke might just be coming, and there's also Gyökeres.
I think Edafe said it when it's in July.
Before we sit here
Arsenal's business will be faster.
before we sit here next edition, we might just be seeing Gyökeres has been confirmed.
Might be
People already doing the celebration.
coming for the next celebration.
Are you satisfied?
So from the point we were last time on the show and where we are now, Mikolo, how are you feeling right now?
Before Fabrizio's Here We Go yesterday
I don't care about his Here We
on
Go
Victor Fabrizio and the radio team, before their latest reports on Gyökeres being confirmed, I think I was at a point where I felt like I was probably going to be logging out for the season. I know that's false, right? But you just
log out.
You just have to.
You just say that to just give yourself copium, like, you know what, if Arsenal sign on Madueke and we don't end up with like a striker and all of that, and
I will
it's
log
just
out
money,
and lie. You go see the spy for corner.
I'm gonna be like against Arsenal. I'm just gonna be neutral this season. But the thing about football, right? It's just like also Diogo Jota and everything. You don't know how affected you are until these things actually happen.
Yeah.
Right? See how everybody broke down. I saw a Puja tweet where he said he got to the studio and everybody was moody on that morning. Like, these are players that they don't even know of your existence, right?
Yeah.
They are miles away. But
Never interviewed them. You never spoken to
a
them.
lot is in connection to these clubs that we don't know, like football wise, right?
The investment.
So, as soon as I saw a Here We Go for Gyökeres, I'm like, okay, here we go. And I saw Zubimendi's listing and I tweeted, I said, I don't have time for patience. I don't think you should go the right route of finding the best position in 2 seasons, right? So get into it. So I feel like I'm hopeful probably going into the season if Gyökeres is signed, and if one of either Eberechi Eze and or Rodrigo is signed.
So are these the world beaters we were talking about last time on the show? That these are the top names you want to see Arsenal be linked to?
Yes, if you are talking about level raisers, I'm not talking about Norgaard or even Noni, right? I'm not talking about
nobody signing Noni. Leave that.
So you understand? So
Agent
if you are talking about level raisers, right? You are talking about Victor Gyökeres, 58 goals last season,
97 goals in 2 seasons.
Do you understand? So these are the people, not Kai Havertz for 65 million. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
That was a bad
So
signing.
Kai should probably start playing cup games. We need Gyökeres, somebody
Kai will
that
still play
knows what he's doing with the ball, right? He has technical ability, and he knows what he wants to do up, and he also has the ability to do it, right? He wants to score the goal.
Cannot head,
So we don't need him to head. We are going to create the chances for him to score. Don't worry.
Kylian Mbappe hardly heads balls, and
And he has goals. So
Mbappe is a force. That one is a planetary system.
add 58 goals to
You
Arsenal.
don't even need to add. You just add 15. and
Level
you're champions.
raisers, Eberechi on the right can also play in midfield, and all of those
the left,
on the left, I mean, and he can also play in midfield. Can find the pocket passes and all of that. Rodrigo can take on a man better than Martinelli. Is not one-way traffic and putting his head down. There's competition on here, there's competition here, and all of that. I feel like those are level raisers, and if the deal can be completed, and probably at the end
It's
of
looking like a 2 before the next.
maybe at the end of the
Gliders.
season, if you can get like probably a double Champions League, and this time I tattoo Mikel Arteta's
no, let's start with twice.
and, I'll put Mikel Arteta and Andre Bata
You won't put
in
my
my
name.
hand. Who are you?
For you, I mean, before Gyökeres, it was Benjamin Sesko. That was the name on
No, he was
everyone's lips.
supporting Norgaard. Ask him about Norgaard.
No, I will come to Norgaard, but are you satisfied with Gyökeres now? I know you wanted both.
The difference between me and him is that he's a media man that pretends to be a coach. I have a coaching certificate. I have coached a football.
I have coached your
University team. Producer puts it.
Let me explain. Look at every successful team. They have the players that make the squad robust. This Diogo Jota we're talking about is one of them. What's the Dutch boy that comes in off the bench always for Liverpool? Cody Gakpo is one of them. You have first 11, or probably you have your first 15 players. Fantastic. That's what Arteta have had in the last 3 seasons. Fantastic first 15. Wenger had it in his last 12 years. But what stopped Arsenal from moving the needle from almost winning it to winning it was the lack of players like that. The body destroyers, what he had in his, George Graham built for him in his early years with the Steve Bull, the Nigel Winterborn, the Lee Dixon, the Martin Keown. When he brought in the first 11, those guys were still experienced enough, leaders enough to play. You have a player who's been the captain of a team in the Premier League, who have the second highest play breaking record in the same Premier League. And I'm not of the opinion that Premier League experience counts, because Fernando Torres was destroying everybody for Liverpool, was shit at Chelsea, and we've seen also all of that. And you bring him in, it's not even coming in as your first team player. You've drawn a squad that last season we finished second because players from the youth team came in. Imagine if Miles Lewis Kelly was not available. That left side position would have been useless, and Arsenal would be costing the goals. So you get this player who is just a squad member for a token that doesn't even affect your PSI, or that does not affect anything, but it's a captain of a team like Brentford who beat you in the Premier League as well, who also stopped you, like was really a turn in your flesh.
Talking about Norgaard now.
Yes, that's value added to the team. Not every time you go spend big money. Again, big money is not necessarily quality, because I can show you many big money
I flopped.
50 million Fernando Torres was big money. Didn't give Chelsea quality. Okay, won the Champions League because he scored a goal against Barcelona, but wasn't really what they expected. 72 million was what they spent on one of the worst signing Arsenal has ever made in their history. Nicolas Yaya Sanogo Pepe. It didn't bring that quality. At the same time, you could also get peasant money, like says Fabregas, $500,000 from the academy of FC Barcelona, and came in and was one of the greatest players to play for the team. Nicolas Anelka didn't play up to 2 seasons, but it's a club legend. for what he did. He won us the double. 500,000 was what we paid to get him from what's it called, Paris Saint-Germain. Why am I saying all of this? You need those squad players. Those players are coming when legs are tired and they come in, they are still going to put in 110% shift. They are not going to feel bad. Imagine for a minute, just imagine for a minute when Gabriel Magalhaes got injured last season. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name well. And there was no Kivio. We have hurriedly sold Kivio because remember, but at the beginning of the season,
here is my own
last
problem.
summer everybody wanted Kivio gone.
Yeah.
Now, how much did we sign Kivio? 12 or 17 million. Everybody wanted him gone. Oh, sell him. But he was the guy. Some of the best games that we played, the Real Madrid game, he was the guy.
Yeah. PSG.
You understand? So when you look at that, you need those kind of bodies in your team that would help. Now let's come to the signing of Zubimendi. We know that Zubimendi is coming to fill in a gap that is left by Thomas Partey. And I agree with him. I don't want one person coming and learning how to play for 2 years. But if we go with what he's done, Ruben Dias came from where did they sign? Benfica also, and immediately won the best player of the season in the Premier League, the player of the season in the EPL. Some other player came again. Rodri came in from. Is this same Real Sociedad? If I'm not mistaken.
No, Atletico Madrid.
Atletico Madrid, yes. He came in from Sociedad to Atletico to Man City. And we saw what he's become. If you check history of football, maybe from 1990 to date, all the winning team have had a solid number 6. We used to call them number 4. Roy Keane for Manchester United. Patrick Vieira for Arsenal. Didier Deschamps for the France 98 team. Carlos Donga, who took over from Rai as captain, was in that Brazil USA 94 team. Makalele for Chelsea. Then you have Sergio Busquets for Barcelona. You have Fernando Redondo for Real Madrid, Casemiro for Real Madrid. Every successful team you have Edgar Davids for Ajax, you've had Gattuso for AC Milan, just to name a few. Every time a team have come into their best of form, you have that stabilizer. That guy who is your stabilizer linkage. And
N'Golo Kante recently.
N'Golo Kante for Leicester and for Chelsea. So this is the guy who comes in. He's not aggressive. It's not had a red card in his career for the position he plays. It's not aggressive. But one thing he does is that, this is not because Arsenal is signing him. I'm not one of those guys who, because Arsenal sign a player, the player becomes world class overnight. No, I'm not. I don't belong.
He's a friend of mine, a Madrid fan. He said once they are playing for Madrid,
I don't have that belief. I still know a lot of Man United players that I love way more than Arsenal players. Players like Andrea Kaczynski, Eric Cantona, who's for me the all-time greatest player in the Premier League. Some people will not agree, but to me, that's the greatest player to play in the Premier League till date for me. Now, if you look at him, he's that kind of player that comes in and does the Rodri job or the Pep job. And a lot of people don't talk about Pep as a player, but I watched him play and I see Zubimendi as another Pep Guardiola. I wouldn't say Sergio Busquets, but Sergio Busquets is exactly Pep anyway. Pep hybrid or upgrade on Pep. So if he brings that to the Arsenal team, let's not forget that one good thing Arteta have done off the back of the last 12 years of Arsene Wenger is that defensively Arsenal become solid, and then they are getting Mosquera right, to add up to this team that they've got. If you look, the entire defense line is an Iguavon size type of defense, 6'2", 6'1", 6 foot. Everybody is 6 foot. It's an advantage. Arsenal used to be a team that they would bully. They say they have soft underbelly after the Vieira exit, but that has changed now. They are solid there, and then you have this midfield that is also very solid. If we get in Vitor Gyökeres and then he fits in, because adaptation is also very, very important. He fits in and he scores the goals. Arsenal are not like 200 goals away from winning the title. They are not plenty wins away from winning the title. They got to the semi-finals of the Champions League, quarterfinals the previous round of 16, quarterfinals, and here we are in the semi-finals. It's possible that eventually an Arsenal fan can say we've won the Champions League. It's also possible that in the Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, whatever era, Arsenal fans can also say we've won the Premier League again. Jokingly, we've gone 20 years plus without winning it. So I think if this signings come in, and to explain to a lot of the people, I have a friend, very good friend and a brother, Sawadino. Last season when he was ranting, Arteta does not want to sign. I used to tell him that, look, Arteta have no business signing players. It is the nonsense that we've fed ourselves or we've allowed ourselves to be treated as coaches sign players that make us think that it's a coach that sign players. Coaches don't sign players. Coaches request for players, and the management go proactively to sign. And then again, there is calendar. Liverpool's financial year ends in May. So that flurry of signing you saw, the weeds, all the players is signed in June. It's because it's in the new calendar year, the new financial year. They can do it. Arsenal financial year ends in June. I told everybody who care to listen that all Arsenal signing will start from July. Not because June was not open for signing, but you don't want to burden yourself. Like we discussed, is it last week, that when you talk of football, we should go and sign this one. My brother, calculate how much they involve. If now your papa money, you go agree maybe they spend them like that. No, because it's you know, people always say these things. And if now your papa money, now give me suya, now my body meat they come out from. So you should think about all of that. And a business that is well run is way better than a crazy reckless spending like we saw with Barcelona. Thank God for one Laporta that's come in to stabilize the ship. If not, if Barcelona was not that big, they would have gone into extinction. You think people would have been happy? Arsenal does not have that kind of clout to sell levers like Barcelona. We don't have future to sell. We've not built it yet. So you will have to follow the financial roadmap. If they get in, you know why it is so exciting? Of the 4 possible names,
because I was about to go there now. What is the definite signing for you, for Arsenal to say, okay, we are ready for the season? 4
possible names. Number 1, Victor Gyökeres was the number 1 name. Then Benjamin Sesko. What makes Benjamin Sesko good is like signing another Thierry Henry. I'm not saying he's a Thierry Henry. You are sure of 10 years in your team. And in that 10 years, it will grow in leaps and bounds. If you are a striker, a centre forward, you come to play for Arsenal, you know why your job will be easy. You don't need to chase the ball. Arsenal have all the players that will put the ball in the box for you. Your job is to sort out your feet, put the ball in the net. That's very, very easy. Just be an Oliver Bell for Jurgen Klinsmann, a Filippo Inzaghi. People that will do the work are available. Arteta have created a solid defense, created a midfield that can create and supply the ball. And it's also going for wide players that we know the weak area of the team, the left attacking side. So once all that is fixed, you come in and score. So if you don't get Benjamin Sesko, you don't get your courage, get Benjamin Sesko. Now when it get worse, push comes to shove. Look at Arsenal. Before, if Arsenal sign a Watkins, we'll call it a great signing. We signed Gabriel Jesus, we're all celebrating. Gabriel Jesus, Watkins, I'll pick Watkins over Gabriel Jesus, right? At the time we signed him. But now, an Arsenal fan will tell you that, oh, no, Watkins is good though, but not Arsenal standard. 5 years ago, Watkins is Arsenal standard by any means. It also means that Arteta have elevated the club. And then beyond that is Ketike, I mean that Calabar guy that plays for Frankfurt or Dortmund, which they Frankfurt. So that's the one. And then below that again, they're not even mentioning Osimhen. Below that again is Sergio Guirassy. So if you see the lineup of possible attacker from best to worst, Arsenal have risen in level to the only club that maybe Arsenal cannot measure up to the kind of signing they will make is Real Madrid right now. Name any club in world football today. All of them want a striker like Victor Gyökeres, Benjamin Sesko, maybe not Oli Watkins, but they would still take a Ketike and the rest. So you can see that Arsenal have not gone from the back where we wait for night market. Everybody has done every business that they want to do, and then Arsenal comes to the fore. So it's just waiting for the signing. Okay, we hear they started their conversation with Victor Gyökeres. The club, the Sporting CP president was really creating problem, agent, gentleman agreement,
same as what RB Leipzig are doing with
Benjamin Sesko. And the reason why I don't blame them, when you look at the market, somebody's already gone to pay 115 million for Florian Wirtz. You wait a minute.
That's the Bundesliga player of the season.
So if you can pay this, don't give me 100 million, give me something close. Yeah. You understand? This guy will supply the pass, but this person you want to take from me will score the goals. He's a finisher, and in the market, finishers are more expensive. So if you can pay 115 for him, then come with 100 million. I understand that their position is not wrong, but then it is up to Andre Bata. That's why he's being paid the big money. He's being paid. It's come in and add value. And then there is a story of Arsenal also bringing in Gabriel Heinze. Now we might have touchline drama. But if you're an Arsenal fan, you're used to it. There was a time where Arsenal fan used to, back at Wenger that he's sitting on the bench, fondling his zip like who's doing soapy. When action is going on, he cannot even stand up to pack back instruction. Recently, we also saw Arteta is always jumping like who have soldier ant in his pants. with the free kick coach also doing their drama. So if you're an Arsenal fan, you're used to it. But Gabriel is coming to show you his teeth. We will see.
What's he calling me?
Almost Arsenal fan will agree with.
One assistant coach.
There's only
Cuesta left.
Cuesta left to
in everything that he has analyzed.
And I think the Watkins and Jesus thing. I think most Arsenal fans might not want to agree with that.
At the time you signed Gabriel Jesus, and what Watkins is today, Watkins does not go out injured like every three months. Watkins scores a lot of goals. Watkins in every 2 chances he gets.
Even with his
check
injuries,
check his numbers. Now Watkins is
not his numbers wise. It's not near Oli Watkins. But yeah, that's not my issue. My issue is with the what he started with, going back to the Norgaard / Partey and everything issue, was the fact that he mentioned the fact that we always want to have we should always have backups, right? Having a robust squad. So now my own issue right now is that why does Arsenal's robust squad have to come with Norgaard as a 31-year-old, right? So you've mentioned people like having the left back that you mentioned, the left centre back that you mentioned, right? Yeah, so Kiwo is under 23, right? And if you are bringing in somebody to understudy Gabriel Magalhaes that can step in when things happen, you need to bring in somebody that is as effective as they can be, not somebody that drops the level from 90 to let's say 40, right? So you are taking out Thomas Partey.
Does not drop it to 40?
I'm coming. I'm telling you that
Kiwo is 25.
Yes, Kiwo is 25, right? So if you are taking out a Thomas Partey that is 32, why are you bringing in Norgaard as 31? Because you want to build a squad, right? So if you check Manchester City, if you want to check Manchester City, Manchester City have very good squad, right? They have robust squad. I don't think they are going to take out a Rodri for a 32-year-old.
They bought a young person.
But there's Zubimendi to complement.
No, they brought in a young person. My problem now is that Kevin Phillips is his name. So he came in and he got pregnant.
If you are bringing in Zubimendi, right?
How old is Zubimendi?
Zubimendi is maybe quite young, in his mid-20s. Okay. But what I'm saying is that if you are building a robust squad, why are you bringing retirees?
Hold on.
We've seen it with
let me
make my points.
I'm getting your point now.
So my point now is that
time is not there for the show
because of robustness. You brought in Raheem Sterling to come and understudy this thing.
That was a wrong move from the get-go.
We needed Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling cannot get Arsenal to the final of the FA Cup or and Kelly Cup, right?
No.
So why are you bringing in a Cristiano Ronaldo?
So we don't drag too much time now. So we don't drag guys that can also make up this squad. Let me answer it.
Liverpool have Gravenberch. They have McAllister. They have Enzo.
They have Endo as well, yeah.
There's no 32-year-old.
How many midfielders do you have in Liverpool?
Quite a lot.
4.
And there's some young ones too.
Hold on. Arsenal in midfield have originally Kai is a 8.
If Zubimendi gets injured,
are you talking about
Norgaard that is going to play?
Hold on now. Let me respond to you now.
So are you talking about holding midfielders now or midfielders in general?
Let me respond to you.
Yes.
Declan Rice is a defensive midfielder. Forget this unnecessary 8 that they are using him to play. The reason why that happens is because we don't have a striker, we don't have an 8, we start rotating players. Declan Rice, defensive midfielder. Zubimendi, defensive midfielder. Yeah. Mikel Merino, another midfielder. Martin Odegaard, a midfielder. You have Ethan Nwaneris, who you battling his contract with, another midfielder in that team. And when all the players are ready, Miles Lewis Kelly is a midfielder. This guy is
so why is Norgaard coming in? I'm telling you that Norgaard is another Sterling. That's what I'm telling you.
Time will prove us right or wrong.
Sterling was already raises the level even as a bench player.
Sterling was already a bad player.
I see where the point.
I'm coming. Because Sterling was already.
If somebody's coming as backup, you should also bring up the level.
Sterling was already a bad player from Man City to Chelsea, and the coach said he doesn't want him. Norgaard at Brentford is the captain of the team. Is consistent. Then the statistics, because like this in this business that we do, they say when you see superior facts, you hold your sword. You hate a player is different. This is what you were saying about Cristiano Ronaldo. You don't like a player is different from when the fact in front of you says this is who the player is. This guy have the second highest breakdown of passes in the Premier League last season, where you have all these young, active, and energized players.
Big fish in a small pond.
Not in the Premier League, not in Brentford. In the Premier League, not in Brentford.
He gets more action
playing in a team that would defend more than they attack. But
which is why he's going to get more.
Hold on. He achieved that. Secondly, second highest header. 1. All of this, Arsenal will not have to deal with that. Try and understand. Arsenal will not have to deal with 50% of what he has dealt with. Meaning he comes in, Arsenal retain possession 90% of the time. He's not going to play you 90 minutes. If you get Zubimendi injured, your first call will not be Norgaard. Your first call will be Declan Rice.
So why are you signing him?
The shuffling of the pack, you still need an extra body because you're playing in 4 competitions. There's the League Cup, the English FA Cup, the League title, the Champions League. You think somebody will leave quarterfinals, semi-finals and not in for the finals? You think somebody will go through 3 times in second, and then
time will tell.
So plus or minus, let's even say they signed Norgaard or they did not sign Norgaard. Let's just
like the goalkeeper last season.
Let's say we still want Neto. We still had the best goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Neto didn't play. Did he play
that
one game?
is my point.
Goalkeeping positions can
That
be
is my point.
different.
Yeah, and then they signed someone that was
cup-tied.
They signed someone that was cup-tied.
Are you telling me that if Arsenal did not sign Norgaard this window now, and all the signing that we've mentioned are done, will you not be satisfied?
I can say that if you want to make this squad robust, sign a much younger person and somebody that has the.
Nicolo,
you're not answering my question now.
You has also said that there's more money for very top quality. Manchester City are signing people every time. Is there people that want to play at the same time?
And Ali Last got
his Rangers
no. Between with Man City, they can even if it doesn't work out, they can afford to do away with it.
Why can't
There's so many big money signings City has made. They don't work out and they move on. They can easily, that's the thing with Manchester City. Not all clubs can bear those losses. Not all clubs can bear those losses.
Is United not one of the younger guys that's coming in?
That's the starter. I'm talking about squad players that are younger guys that can step in.
You just want to argue.
Well, we
want to have this program.
It's not the argument. You don't bring in Norgaard.
Your sentiment to party. Somebody play 4 seasons for you.
and Jorginho.
3 seasons.
You're letting Partey and Jorginho go.
Norgaard.
Why?
Is Jorginho not his age mate? Is Jorginho not his squad mate?
So why is signing Norgaard?
Wants
to go.
Why are you signing Norgaard?
Jorginho left. Now Norgaard is the player coming in
to replace Jorginho.
What is the long-term project in that?
All up.
Now
signing is not long-term. So Alex Ferguson went to go and sign a guy called Anderson, the Swedish guy from Barcelona, on loan. He won them titles in a short term 3 months contract. That happens everywhere in football. Who cares? Must every of your signing be long term? You have it in one area. Is that not long term? You ask guys Mike Zuliskelly. Is that not long? You have a lot of players that are long term. The Bukayo Saka that you have for long term. What does it want for you?
If Arsenal did not sign Kiwior as a backup to Gabriel Magalhaes, do you know who they would have been stuck with? Rob Holding.
No.
Right?
No.
As at 2 seasons ago,
Ben White.
As at 2 seasons ago,
I think we'll not go on Arsenal when we confirm
as at 2 seasons ago,
how their summer has panned out.
This argument,
how the summer has panned out. By the time we come in next week on the show,
this argument is becoming baseless. Leave it. Your personal beef.
No, it's not necessary. It's being logical.
You're not being logical.
Timothy, as a rival fan now,
right? If somebody grows old in your club, you have spent probably 6 years and it's
Man City signed Norgaard. How old was he?
How old was
when he joined? No,
when he first joined.
When he first joined. He went to Barcelona. He went to Barcelona. He left. If it was bad for you to let him go, why do you not bring him back? What was not
Timothy? In all of this, where do you see Arsenal? If they end up with all the signing, the Azes, the Rodrigo, how do you see Arsenal?
Of course, I've always said that Arsenal needed a striker. I am a very, very big fan of Arteta, for those who know me, and I love the kind of football he plays. When Arsenal play football, you know that this is a team, even though they don't have players on the bench. When Arsenal leaves their players, you have seen so many defenders on the bench, but you still see the team grinding so hard to play even bigger teams, play the Manchester Cities, the Liverpools, and even teams that can always give them problems on their days. But now that they're getting in an out-and-out striker, it's very, very decent. Like Anedafe said, Kai Havertz can also drop deep, and we have seen Mikel Arteta try to use Havertz, especially when Raya is trying to go long, to actually bring those long balls down to actually ease for easy transition. So it's going to really, really help Arsenal. I can't really say if they win the league because their opponents those they are contending against have also recruited well. Manchester City have recruited well. Let's forget that they lost to Al Hilal. Let's forget that they lost to Al Hilal. Liverpool have recruited well. So maybe this is going to be a season where
point in time, Kevin Phillips was the squad depth.
Maybe this is going to be Emmanuel, maybe this is going to be the season where we would have maybe 3 teams competing till the final day. I don't know, but I mean it's going to be tough. I can't say that. Okay, this is
Premier League.
I mean, we've had Liverpool.
That's not Man City will compete to final.
Why do you think Liverpool cannot get in? I mean, Liverpool have not lost players. Liverpool have not lost players, and they also lost to Norgaard.
AC Milan don't win anything. Now, they need to be proven right. We have make you know they who see what you they talk.
No, at the end of the day, we will get to know as the summer transfer window continues, because Arsenal are still very much involved in this window, because I mean the business is still very much up to complete. Rodrigo is there as well. So guys, it's been wonderful on the show. I mean, we still have a lot to talk about, but due to time constraints, we'll keep that for the next edition of the show. So that is the more reason for you to stick with us on the Gliders on BETWGB TV. It's another new week. I've done this. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian. Still with the guys.
Thanks to all our subscribers.
And to all our commenters. Thank you so much. Don't forget, if you subscribed,
so you didn't even call Falcons result.
You know, turn on post notifications. We're talking about the Super
Falcons.
Opener. So more games to look forward to. I promise you, on the next edition, we'll have a lot to talk about. Don't you go anywhere. Stick with us till we come away again next time. Bye bye.